How are you doing? Good, thank you.
Doing great.
Good.
And I've been telling him, we've been visiting just a little bit, and I've been giving him the information about Boundless, and so I thought I'd let you take it from here, Pat, and give him all the technical information about how the all the services we can offer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to tell you a little bit about Boundless here in the next 15 minutes at the most. But as I'm sure Bonnie has mentioned, Boundless is a service provider to DMI, and what we'll be focusing on here is really the technology services. What I thought I would do today is just start off by just giving you a general overview of Boundless, just a brief bio on who we are and what makes us different, so you have a general understanding on Boundless Network. And then I thought we would transition to doing an actual demo on some of the technology that Bonnie's probably spoke to you about already, but we'll actually be able to see that in works. So all this is intended to be conversational. So if you all have any questions, just throw them at me as we go along here, and then we'll run through all this. So,
okay.
Beginning with just some general overview on Boundless. Boundless is based out of Austin, Texas. We've been around for a little bit. Since 2005. We have approximately 100 employees down in Austin. In addition to that, we have 100 plus individuals like Bonnie. We're scattered throughout the United States as well as Canada that represent us on the sales side of things. Our core competency is promotional products, obviously, but we are also a provider of things like print, awards and recognition, as well as uniforms. Our target audience or clients companies that we typically work with are companies that have multiple buyers of branded merchandise. They can be under one rooftop or multiple rooftops, but the common denominator about those companies is they're looking to centralize their brand merchandise spend. Boundless will end the year probably in the $100 million in sales range. Obviously our client base is businesses, but we also have a sister company. You may have heard of it. It's called Zazzle.com. It's an e-commerce retailer. If you're looking to do, for example, purchase an individual shirt and upload your picture and says, "I love mom," that's what Zazzle does. Zazzle deals directly with the consumer. The only reason I mentioned the two companies, both Zazzle and as well as Boundless, obviously, is that collectively we buy from the same factories, both internationally as well as domestic, which gives us an opportunity to leverage our supply chain, which Bonnie then can take advantage of as far as the depth of products that we can offer, as well as obviously best pricing. Boundless has also invested a lot of money in technology in excess of $15 million. We have 7 developers on staff. We have about eight different patents technology, and that's really what makes us quite a bit different than anybody out there. We actually provide every buyer and every company a custom brand merchandise website. We call it buyer portals, but they're brand merchandise websites. On these websites, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, a buyer from like a Fujitsu can come online and shop a database of promotional products. They can purchase products with your logo or logos on it that are brand approved. They can also go online and check order status, see when an order is scheduled to ship, if it's delivered, who signed for it. And they also have the ability to run reporting at a button on their individual spend. And if given authority, they have the ability to view the entire department spend or company's overall spend. As a result of the platform, it's allowed us to become the brand merchandise provider for Susan G. Komen and American Heart on the profit side, as well as countless other companies such as Hilton, Spectrum, Baylor Healthcare, to name a few.
Just out of curiosity, do you guys work with Jason Dyer or Stephanie Carson over at the Heart Association?
It does at the Heart Association, at American Heart.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't personally. Maybe one of my colleagues may know that.
I was just curious. They're both real good friends of mine.
Yeah, no, they're a great client. We do if you're familiar with the jump rope program, which I know they would be. We conduct that program for
Okay.
Again, the common denominator, what those companies looking to do, I mentioned centralize the brand merchandise spend, but a lot of it too is, especially with Baylor, Scott and White, and especially on the company side, are looking to drive brand compliance with all the buyers that are scattered throughout, and then obviously leverage their spend to drive savings. So there's no questions just on a general Boundless overview. What I thought I'd do then is transition and actually show you some of this technology and works here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's roll on to that here. Bear with me for a second while I get on this new share here. All right, so hopefully you're looking at a screen that shows Box It up in the upper left-hand corner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What you're looking at here is the platform that I talked about. Again, this is the custom brand merchandise website. We're actually logged in as somebody named Mark. Mark is a buyer at Box It. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I spoke about earlier in Works. So general shopping experience, Mark here has the ability to come in here, and if he's looking for mugs or tumblers, he simply can type in what he's looking for. Here a database of products that are found under this subject heading. So tumblers, there's 142 tumblers. Source these products by price point, just like any other general web sourcing engine, color, and so on. But at the end of the day, the individual can come in here, have descriptive copy on the product, pricing, you can enter whatever quantity, and then click on get a quote. That would go directly to DMI or Bonnie to then process that quote and respond to that customer. They can come online and request a sample at a click of a button too. Again, request a sample, takes to a screenshot of the product that's required. And that sample request, again, goes back to DMI and back to Bonnie to be processed. There's a database of over 30,000 products here. You can find almost anything in here. If you can't find the product that you're looking for, you have the contact information of DMI or the individual that's handling the account. You can also do, we can also set up what I described as e-commerce shopping. So items that have your logo on it. So you'll see here in the center here, welcome to the Box It store. As I scroll down, you'll notice these different categories that are available: apparel, events and trade show, print collateral, and so on. But all these items here are ready to be purchased. So I'm looking for an apparel item. I can simply click on apparel. It'll pull up what's available under apparel. If I'm interested in a particular item and I want to buy it or interested in buying it, I get a visual of it, descriptive copy. I can type whatever quantity I'm looking for. I can select a color, and I can select the logo. And Fujitsu is probably like a lot of companies, they have multiple different logos. I've got a logo locker with different options available. Gray.
And then it translates to the garment, right, Pat?
Correct. So whatever I'm interested in, it's a visual of the logo. If I'm interested in buying it, I can just go simply add it to a cart and go through the shopping cart experience. So what you're looking at is apparel. So there's a multitude of different sizes. I ordered 12. I determine what sizes I want. And again, I begin the checkout process. I would then provide a credit card, ultimately tell them where I want it shipped. And I'm done as a buyer. That request goes to Bonnie. Bonnie approves it, goes directly to the factory, and then that's delivered to the individual buyer.
Pat, you mentioned credit card. There's they can also pay via purchase order or invoice, correct?
You can purchase via invoice, P card. There's an assortment of ways that you can, so we can set it up accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So what I just described to you, kind of a general shopping experience and then an e-commerce shopping experience. The reason that we have two, we can shut off one or the other if so desired. But the reason we start off with two is because buyers typically have a store of items that have, pre-approved items that marketing is approved that individuals have instantaneously can buy. But a lot of times marketing's dealing with different events and they're looking for, that inflatable pink dinosaur or something to that effect, some unique item. That general shopping ability comes in handy in those cases. So that's the shopping experience that's accessible to you.
Pat, before you go to group buy, which I think is next, can you speak to how Corey can check the status of orders and track?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's an important part of it. Order status, because obviously you're buying these typically for events. So at any point in time, you can come in here, again, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and get real-time accessibility to information. So in other words, order process, and click on in-process orders. This will pull up all Mark, the individual that I'm logged in on, all his orders and where they are in process. So you'll see status here in this column, and you'll see order in production, order shipped. If I click on the item, on the order, it will take me to an order detail report, which again signifies that it's shipped. That was representative in the column that I just showed. But you'll get a summary of what's going to ship, what you ordered, and then also this will take you. There's also a tracking information, whether it's Federal Express or UPS. You click on that link, it'll take you directly to there and tell you if it's been delivered and who signed for it and so on.
Now, of course, you can always call me or text me,
no, but
this makes it easy.
Way easier.
Yeah.
So let me ask a question. So for in our company, like I would imagine we could either do it on credit card or a purchase order, but different people who would want to purchase this stuff. We have what's called a PCC, which is basically like a cost center. I'm not even sure what PCC stands for. I'm sure it's probably Purchasing Cost Center.
Yeah.
So is there any sort of like custom development on this where if we say, enter your credit card, which obviously is just your numbers, or enter your department PCC code that when the invoice comes to us, it'd be broken up. Like if 10 things get purchased and it's 10 PCC codes, then we could cut you a check, but our finance people can bill it back to the right department. Is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely. All this stuff can be customized, and most of them are, candidly, because different companies pay in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of having a secondary discussion and speccing it out further to find out exactly all those little things that P cards, for example, getting that spelled out, and then we can put that into this technology so it's accessible.
And is there anything in here, like as an example, if we wanted to set a control that says, okay, any order over, I'm making this up, $500 has to go to next level supervisor for approval?
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys like build in, like you take our HR system integration and send emails to like a next level manager, or how do you do it?
Yeah, I mean, there's an approval process that we have, so we call it management approval, and it's just like you mentioned, and it's that authorization that needs to be communicated back to the assigned manager, and approval has got to be made before that person can then proceed to check out. We can put budgets in place. There's just so many things that we can do here to put those type of parameters in place if so desired. So
okay.
Can you also touch on, Pat, on they can check the reports that they have access to as far as
reporting is I mean, buyers usually care about getting their koozie on there and on time and done right. Managers care about spend. So reporting becomes really big for that audience. So on the portal, you can run a report at any point in time. So if I click on reports, I can enter whatever date parameters I want. So again, I'll just pick out previous current year. I have no idea how much this person has spent, but we'll find out here in this report. So this will pull up this individual during this time period. This person has purchased four times for six grand, and these are the 4 individual orders.
Ooh.
This is this is actually a demo site, but you've got the feel of it. So individually mark demo, the individual logged in on, itemize the 4 individual orders. We talked about a little earlier, and I think Bonnie mentioned, we can also provide what we call enterprise reporting. So we can provide enterprise reporting for yourself or for other individuals within the organization, and it can be department reporting, or it can be company reporting. But an example of that would be what we call enterprise reporting. So if you click on enterprise reporting and I click on generate a report, it'll pull up all the buyers that this individual's authorized, that reports up to this individual. So you'll see here, well, first and foremost, you'll see a summary. So there's 9 orders, 16 grand. But below that, you'll see the individual's name, buyer names, Mark Demo, Jane, Michelle, Patrick, and so on, and what they purchased. Mm-hmm. A lot of, obviously, managers will use this to drive budgets for the following year, measure ROIs, and then also, more importantly, a lot of times drive brand compliance too, so there's no rogue spend within the organization.
Okay. Show me the group stuff you were talking about.
Yeah, Group Buy is another patented technology. So are you familiar with Groupon?
Yes.
Okay, so it's the same concept as Groupon. It's the ability of buyers, multiple buyers, to order a like item all at the same time. And with that, increasing the quantity or volume of the order, and then in turn driving down the price of the product. So Group Buy, I'm going to pull up a template here. This is a demo site again of a Group Buy campaign. So let me kind of walk through of how this would work. So somebody like Bonnie would work with somebody like you and identify common items that are bought by multiple buyers within the organization. It could be a Bic Click pen, it could be a coffee mug, it could be a shirt, whatever it may be. But identifying those items and then running what we call a group buy. So Bonnie identifies those items with the help of your input, creates a group buy template, identifies the approved buyers that you authorize to be part of this group buy, and then Bonnie sends a group buy template, what you're looking at right here, to go out to that audience of buyers. So when I click on it, as a recipient, I'm pretending I'm a buyer, I'll receive an email from Bonnie or even yourself that'll say, hey, we're running a group buy campaign on these items. This is the time period we're running. It's a day, 5 days, whatever it may be. Everybody, if they're interested, this is the time to purchase. So buyer opens up his email, reads that. He's interested in a tumbler. He says, okay, I want to get on the deal. It takes me to a purchase order template. So you'll see here, there's the current price is $27. So when I scroll down here, you'll see the price grid. So highlighted in blue, there's actually been 200 that have already been purchased. So if I scroll down here, and again, as an individual buyer, if I'm interested in buying, let's say 200, and I click on add to cart, let me move this up. You'll notice the price quantity then went from 100 units to 250 units, so to $26.44. So I'll come in here, I can either continue to shop or I can proceed to check out. So when I check out, it'll ask me, do I want to pay by invoice or credit card? If I want to pay by invoice, or again, it can be P cards, whatever, cost center, whatever it may be. I can then go to billing. It'll automatically pull up my contact information if it's already in the system. If it's not, then I have to fill out the shipping address and any special instructions I may have, and then I check out. I'm done. But at the end of this buy, I just bought 200, so the quantity went up to 275. So I just bought 200. But at the end of the group buy, a week later, hopefully there's been 5 items that have been purchased, and if that's the case, then the price will even go down further. It'll go down to, let's say, for example, $25. I'll automatically receive an email from Bonnie that will say, thank you for participating in group buy. You bought 275 tumblers. The group buy ended up at $26. The group buy ended up to be total of 5,000 units. It's $25. You'll be invoiced $6,000 or whatever it may be. And you're done.
That's cool.
You as a manager will receive an Excel spreadsheet that'll list all the people from Fujitsu that participated in the group buy, the quantity that they purchased, how much they would have paid, and how much they saved by, participating in the group buy. So we do group buy campaigns for companies like Encompass Home Health, which is in the Dallas area, Sports Clips, companies that, again, have multiple buyers that buy like items. It could be apparel, uniforms, or again, it could be like big pens, whatever it may be. But there's substantial savings that can take place through proper planning and through this method of buying.
That's cool.
And we can determine how often the group buys are set up. I mean, generally like once a month, once every quarter.
Yeah, like that's a best practice, Bonnie. And like, for example, Sports Clips, I think they're doing it every other month. They're running a group buy campaign. Now, these are 1,500 locations, right? So it's franchised. So they're running it pretty often, right? Monthly or every other month. Encompass Home Health, they're pretty big too, over 1,000 locations. They run it probably every quarter or every other month.
And also we can determine with the client if we want to do it theme-based, like holiday, summer, anything like that.
Yeah, I would, it could be, yeah, absolutely. I mean, theme-based is good. Seasonality is good. Golf, for example, spring, we get a lot of golf-centric group buys during that time period.
You're speaking to Corey there.
Yeah. It's got to be good stuff.
Yeah, the sales folks or whatever. A lot of financial service companies are big at, how they get brokers, get people to come into meetings. They'll hand out Pro V1 golf balls. So they'll these group buys during that time period to make those purchases. So it's just good planning, and it's a good exercise. Again, there's some significant savings that you can see.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so I mean that's just a high level overview of Boundless and specifically the portal technology. Again, these custom websites that we provide, as well as group.
That's cool. So like, if we did this, we would just have like, it would be, I don't know, DMI.boundless, whatever, right? It would be kind of your branded portal.
Well,
where you're the interface to this.
I was going to say, Pat, I think we set up Corey as a customer. He may, and I sent their logo, so you may have it on my portal.
Yeah, what I can do is send Corey and yourself the login information so Corey can play around with his, and also I can send him actually this as well too to give him a feel of what that looks like. So the Boxit site that we just went through.
Because your logo would be right here in mine.
Yeah, it'd be like Fujitsu company store or whatever. No, that's cool. That's cool. So then, so nothing stays in inventory. It's all on demand.
It's pretty much however you want to do it. Yes, that would be the best to do on demand. Yes.
Like, so we can set spending limits per person, per month, per quarter, and like once it taps out, you just call me for approval to extend it or whatever.
Is that how it works, Pat?
Correct. We can do it that way. It can be automated. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways we can do it, but yeah, we can put limits at the bottom line.
But this is really cool.
Yeah, it's just a different way of doing it. I mean, inventory's bad. Right? Why? Because there's inventory, there's upfront costs, there's fees, and there's also the risk of obsolete inventory. So getting around that.
Do you guys what golf brands do you carry? Like FootJoy, Peter Millar, Donald Ross?
I mean, all the above. I mean, when it comes to golf, all the above. I mean, Nike was just in our offices not too long ago, so we do quite a bit of Nike, Callaway. There's a whole array of different golf offerings that we have.
Yeah, if you can just send me like the portal with the login to kind of so it looks like what Bonnie's would look like, that'd be cool. Because I'd just love to go. As Bonnie knows, I only buy, especially for some of these nice client events, really premium stuff. Like I've done the Nikes and the Ashworths, but those are for when you have like network managers that come out to play. But we're doing stuff here with CEOs and VPs, and it's got to be Pro V1. It's got to be Peter Millar or high end Bobby Jones kind of stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff is accessible, and in fact, what Bonnie can do, even if it's not in our general database, is that what we can do is provide you an idea book of those type of brands that those particular brands. So it's an area for you, so it's a quick reference point.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Thank you for taking the time. This is pretty cool.
No, I'm glad it was informative, and as Bonnie will mention, I mean, we're always accessible to address any questions you may have, and I look forward to working with you.
Yeah, no, I think it's, I mean, it's simple. I don't mean that the technology is complex, but the way that it's been, the way that they've kind of just made it, they clearly know their audience because it's all the stuff that you would typically need. So they have done some homework there, which I think is
Well,
good.
you know what the I'm chuckling because you know what the homework was just simply following Amazon. Amazon. And if you're an Amazon Prime member, everything that I mentioned to you,
Yeah.
it's the same darn thing. It's reporting, it's order
Yeah.
status,
Yeah.
shopping. So yeah,
That's cool.
so
Okay.
Do you have any other questions? that
No,
you
this
can
is,
answer
this
with
is, I think
technical?
this is, it's, I mean, it's pretty, what I would call standard stuff. It's good stuff. And I think really what I'd like you to do is, I can send an email to Tammy,
Uh-huh.
Tammy Savage. She's actually home based in Montana, but she's the person who would work with you day to day on this. And if you guys wouldn't mind just like doing another demo with her to kind of show her the stuff.
Oh, sure.
Plus, she'll be much more in touch with kind of how we do things. I don't really know how the watch works here.
Uh-huh.
I just know that when I went on the sites, it's kind of crappy stuff. I mean, I shouldn't say crappy. It's just lesser quality stuff that's cheaper. And it was probably that way by design because they didn't want people spending a lot of money on stuff. But it's very intuitive.
Could we, this is just me thinking out loud, Pat, and I basically kind of like another client that I have a store with. Can we set up like different levels, like higher level inventory products for certain people to see, and then like lower levels, like
yeah, we call them user groups.
okay.
Yeah, so not to use a alcohol example, but if you're Budweiser people can see Budweiser stuff, Bud Light people can see Bud Light stuff, and so on. So yeah, absolutely, we can provide.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because that'd be helpful, right? I mean, like the average person can order pens and T-shirts, but if you're a sales VP and you want to order 100 Pro V1s, go for it, right? Just make sure you don't bill me for it. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Yeah, thank you very much for taking the time.
No problem. I enjoyed the conversation. Y'all have a good day.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Bye now.
That's cool.
So yeah, I thought you'd like it, and it's much better for